Okay, welcome to this video on converting fractions to decimals to percents, and this will basically just be a basic video, and later in future videos in this module we will go on and do some more specific examples. But I just wanted to go over a couple of strategies with you to use so that again, the goal here is if we're given a fraction, we can convert that to its equivalent decimal and percent form. If we're given a decimal, we can convert that to its equivalent fraction and percent form. If we're given a percent, we can convert that to its fraction and decimal form. And then once we can do that, we can also we need to be able to place these on a number line in the correct order. And for most students, the easiest thing to do, and personally what I do when I'm trying to list numbers from least to greatest and place them on a number line, I would like to convert them to decimal form, because for me that is the easiest thing to do. And if that's you, then that is great. And if you prefer, fractions work for you, then by all means that's the form that you need to get the numbers in so that you can group them, because you need to do what works best for you. And which method you use and what form you get the number into really doesn't matter to me as far as putting them on the number line. I just want you to be able to determine where a fraction, a decimal, or a percent would fall on a number line, regardless of what form you convert it to get to that point. So to sum that all up, basically the ability to convert from a fraction to a decimal to a percent and vice versa allows you to really get a number into, if you're given a fraction and you like decimals better, to be able to take that fraction, get it into a decimal so that you can work with it with whatever mathematical operation you are doing. Okay, so that this is a very important skill, and one that you will continue to use as you advance in your mathematics education. Okay, so with all that said, let's get started. So let's say that we were given a fraction first, okay, and then we were asked to find the decimal and the percent. So we are given, let's say, the fraction 1/4, okay, and we were asked to find the decimal and the percent. Okay, so what I would do first, and I think is easier, if you're given the fraction, go to a decimal and then go to a percent, because as we discussed in the percent video, going from a percent to a decimal, and a percent is pretty straightforward with some basic rules. So let's get this fraction into a decimal form, and that'll lead us to the percent. Alright, so how do we get 1/4 into a decimal form? Well, we have to look at exactly what this is saying mathematically. 1/4, we can say this just in language as 1 divided by 4, right? Mathematically, that's what this means. 1 divided by 4. This is a fraction, but to get it into a decimal form, we are going to use division. 1 divided by 4. Alright, so we know that. Now all we have to do is do it. And if we have a calculator, we can use that, but we're not going to do that right now. We're actually going to use division. You've probably done division by hand a million times in your life by now, so let's just do that. So 1 divided by 4, and this will give us our decimal form. Alright, so 4 goes into 1 0 times. Put in our decimal. Put in a 0. 4 goes into 10 how many times? 2 times. 4 times 2 is 8. We're left with 2. Bring down another 0. 4 goes into 20 how many times? 5 times. Okay, 5 times 4 is 20. Remainder is now 0, so we are done. So there's our decimal form. That's simple. Okay, 0.25 or 25 100ths. Alright, now let's take that to a percent. I'm going to rewrite this over here. So now we've got our decimal, and now it's so easy to go to a percent. Remember the rule. We just move the decimal place 2 places to the right and add a percent sign, and we're done. So let's do that. 2 5 1 2. which then becomes 25, add the percent, and we're done. Okay? Now let's work from a percent. Let's say that we're given a percent. First, hold that thought. Let me draw this for you graphically using just our large birthday cake example. Okay. Because what I want you to start being able to do is visualize what this means. Okay, so from our fraction discussion, we know that the denominator, the bottom number, is the number of pieces this whole birthday cake is split into, number of equal pieces, so 4 equal pieces. And since we're discussing the quantity 1/4 right now of this birthday cake, that would be just one of these 4 squares. Alright, one of these 4 total parts that make up this whole thing. Alright, so that's what we're discussing. So that's that. Alright, so let's say we were given a square like this and asked to divide it and then shade the part that we were talking about. So that's how you would attack that. And what I want you to start visualizing is 25% of this whole big square would be 1/4, 0.25, 25/100ths, 25%. Okay, how those all relate to this one area right here. Okay. All right. Now let's go on and let's. I think we said we were going to start with the percent, right? And work from there. We'll do an easy one. 75%. Let's say we were given 75%. We were asked to find the decimal and fraction equivalent to that. And what I like to do, and I think it works best in most cases, is really when you have a percent, you can go one of 2 ways. We'll do it both ways, just so you have both strategies. All right, let's go from the percent to a decimal first. Okay, so remember our rule. When we have 75% and we want it in a decimal, we do 2 things. Okay, first, just write it here. First, move decimal 2 places left. Alright, step 2, we remove percent sign. Okay, so I'm gonna mark this as option 1 right here. Option 1. And you can choose the one that works best for you. Alright, so with this option, I'm going to bring this over here. 75%, move decimal 2 places to the left. So we've got 75, and we go 1, 2, which then becomes 70.75 or 75/100ths, and we remove the percent sign, which we've done. So there we go. There's our decimal form that way. Okay. Now, option 2, let's write that down here. Option 2, if you have the 75% that you're starting with, let's write that in. Alright, so we're starting back again with 75%. Option 2 would be to take this to a fraction first. And the rule on percent to a fraction is we take the number, that's the symbol for number, so the number before percent sign, and put it over 100. Alright, so that's step 1. Step 2, we can reduce it. Reduce it when possible. Reduce it. Parentheses, if possible. Okay, so 2 easy steps there. And again, I don't care which one you use, you just need to use the one that you have the most success with, the one that clicks in your brain, the one that makes you get the correct answer more often. Okay, So let's do that. So take the number before percent sign and put it over 100. So we have 75 is the number before the percent sign. So 75, put that over 100, right? And now we just need to reduce it if possible. Is it possible to reduce this fraction? Absolutely. What jumps out at you first? For me, it would be 25, right? So 25 will go into 75 how many times? 3 times, right? 25 will go into 100 how many times? 4 times. So 3/4 is our fraction. There we go. Let's circle that. Okay. So in option 1 we went from a percent to a decimal. Option 2 we went from a percent to a fraction. Okay. So let's go back up here and say that we used option 1 and we went from a percent to a decimal. Now we need to get to a fraction. How do we do that? Well, just like we've talked about before, when we say this correctly, 75.75 is the same as 75 hundredths, and we say that way so that it's easy to go jump to a fraction. 75 hundredths. Make that clear that that's a 7 and not a 2. 75 hundredths. We've already done this down here. We know 25 goes in 3 times to 75, and it goes in 4 times to 100, so 3/4. Alright. Now, if we had if we went option 2 here, now we would need the decimal equivalent of this, and we would do that this way, just like we did before. If we have a calculator, just punch it in. 3 divided by 4. Remember, just if we say this just in English, 3 divided by 4 is what that means. So let's do that. 3 divided by 4. Okay, 4 goes into 3 0 times. Put in our decimal. Add our 0. 4 goes into 37 times. 28. 7 times 4 is 28. 2 left over. Bring down another 0. 4 goes into 25 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Remainder 0, and we're done. Okay, 0.75. That all checks out. Okay, so regardless, when you start with a percent, whatever option you choose to go with and whatever works best for you is fine, just as long as you're getting the correct answers. Alright, now let's draw our box here, our birthday cake as we said, and let's talk about what this means. And in this case, we started with 75%, and to me, if you're asked to draw, you're given a large box like this or a long bar or whatever you're given, and you're asked to break it into pieces and then shade it appropriately. To me, the fraction form in this case is the easiest to work with, because remember, let's do that. 75% we've already decided is 3/4, and you can see why it's important to be able to convert between all of these forms, because depending on what you're asked to do and how your brain works, if you can, certain forms will be easier for you to work with and get answers to specific problems. So that's why this converting is so important. Alright, so the method that we've used before when we discussed the basics of fractions, we know that the denominator is the total number of pieces it's split into. So let's say I gave you this box and said, tell me what 75% of this box is and shade it. Then the easiest thing to do would be to convert that to a fraction. We get it to 3/4. The denominator, the lower number, is the number of pieces this box is going to be split into, 4 equal pieces. So let's do that. We've got our 4 equal pieces. The number on top right here is the number of pieces that parts that make up that whole that we're talking about, which in this case is 3. So let's shade that in. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Alright, and we're done. So now we've given it graphically, we've given it in percent, decimal, and fraction form. Okay, and we used two options. Since we were started with the percent, we had two ways we could go. You pick the way that works best for you. Okay,